Consent over everything.
Yes, greetings. My name is Glenroy Watson. I'm the Secretary of the Global African Congress, but also I'm the Secretary of my union's Black Solidarity Committee, and I'm here in solidarity with the demonstration against the deportation. And we need to be very clear. It's not just happening today, it's been happening for a long while. They were doing it long before the so-called Windrush scandal, if you want to call it that, because as far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing as a Windrush generation. There have been Africans coming to this place for a long time and leaving, but now we have a situation where they're trying to pigeonhole our time here. This idea that they can scrape up people off the street or people who are working their situation legally, paying monies to lawyers, are now being victimized and scraped up and thrown on a plane and deported is something we have to resist, and resist strongly. What we don't have is a network of African people here from the Caribbean and wherever who can link up so that we form some sort of defense that when they are picked up, that we can act and not wait for things like this. The current situation, as I understand it, is that there's a flight being planned to leave tomorrow or the day after that are deporting African people back to the Caribbean. And people need to understand there is an easy way to resist this that the government of Jamaica is refusing to do. If you don't recognize those people, if you don't accept that they are people from Jamaica, no one can deport them to Jamaica. The Chinese have been doing that for years. They simply say, we don't recognize these addresses. We don't recognize these people. These people are being deported for the same reason as Africans were always picked up in this manner. It's nothing to do with anything that they've done. They've been criminalizing the African community for years. Young boys and girls were being done over for petty issues such as shoplifting, given a criminal record. It's affecting their work, it's affecting their ability to find a job, and then suddenly now they're turning it into an opportunity to deport people. These are petty issues, petty crimes, and then they want to tell people that these are hardened criminals. That's what they are, hardened criminals are being brought here to destabilize our community. So talk about that. We know of one. As a trade unionist on the underground in the railway industry, we know that there is one person who is a train technician, as we heard it read out. I will be trying to see if I can make some contact with them and find out if there's any more. We don't know all of them, but we have read and what we have read. Sorry? What's the charges against the individual? The charges against the individual that I've referred to as a train technician is had an issue of drugs-related crime. Yeah, something that Europeans are going around smoking on the street or indulging in. They're not being deported. They're not being sent anywhere. If they're from Scotland, they're not being sent back to Scotland. If they're from Wales, they're not being sent back to Wales. But for somehow they've decided that our people must be criminalized, deprived of their connection and family here.
What's the Jamaican Commission or the Jamaican government, what's their role in this whole situation?
Their role is to collaborate with the right-wing government in this country to demonize and belittle African people from the Caribbean. That's their role. It's clear that they're being paid. It's clear that no new prison, as far as I know, has been built in Jamaica, and yet Cameron went down there and offered them money. What was the money for? Other than to involve and collaborate in things like this of deporting people. It's no different than those who used to collaborate with the enslavers in capturing our people. That's all this is, modern day enslavement, and we need to be clear on that. Otherwise we're going to blindly walk into believing we can negotiate or come to some conclusion with these people.
So the Jamaican government accepted money to build prisons?
It's clear there is something going on. It's clear that there has been financial transaction. And I pin that on the fact that when David Cameron went to Jamaica, instead of answering our demand for reparation, he says he is willing to give money to build prison. And there is money. The reality is, as far as I know, history tells me the first prison they built in Jamaica was after our resistance against enslavement, because they had intended to carry on these apprenticeship service. So again, the process continues.
I've heard of, I can't remember exactly what country it was, but I think Britain tried to deport people already, but they refused to accept them.
Yeah,
And send the plane back.
yeah. And there need to be more of that. There is no reason.
So why is the Jamaican government?
Because I believe, you know, and I stand here ready to be accused of getting it wrong, I believe that the government has taken money to collaborate with this recipient. If you actually think that these are hardened criminals, do you import hardened criminal into your country? We know the British government did it the other way because they wanted to criminalize and start problem in the African community by bringing in criminals from Jamaica. Now they're trying to tell us they're doing it the other way around. Are they interested in Jamaican society? Is the Jamaican government interested in Jamaican society? They're suggesting that they're importing hardened criminal. It's rubbish. They're taking money. People are being bribed. This country is famous for bribing people in the South, and they're doing it again. And that's the context we must see it as. And people in Jamaica need to challenge the people there. Hopefully that's enough.
Content over everything. From your government.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen.
My name's Cheryl Seeley. My name is Cheryl Seeley. I think what's happening here today, I knew it was going to happen. I spoke earlier and I said it before it happened. It's pointless us being out here. We're fighting the fight a different way, but some people need to understand what's going on. You asked the question,